We are live, my friends.
Yes.
Here talking Lakers. My name is Minty Fresh Buckwalter, and I'm here with my good friend Kula.
What's up? What's up, y'all?
And I can't say that I'm the biggest Lakers fan in the world, but I know this guy is.
Yes. Love the Lakers. Lake Show, baby. All day.
Honestly, I'm just an NBA guy, so I mean, I'm down to talk any team, anytime. But hey, might as well talk about the Lakers. Just got Luka Doncic, in my opinion, the best scorer in the league. Can literally score at will. Just got him, and he made his debut last night. What do we think?
I thought it was really good. Really good team to I guess get the feet wet. If you let me say that. They were really good in the first half. I think they put up 71. And Luka and LeBron, a lot of questions going into the game, how'd they fit, how'd they mesh well with all the other pieces on the team. First game without the center, especially after the Mark Williams trade got rescinded. We'll talk a little bit about that later, though. But overall, I thought the flow of the offense looked really good the whole game. Obviously, the first quarter, you get up 20, and you start to, if you're LeBron and Luka, you start to think, oh, yeah, I'm not going to play this whole game. And so, like I said, really good start for Luka and the Lakers, and a really good start for the Lakers fitting him into their system. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I mean, it's hard to be critical of Luca in particular. I mean, he hasn't played since Christmas, which is like 50 days ago. So, I mean, not the greatest shooting night. I mean, he only hit 1 3 out of 10, 7, 8, 10, 7, 8, 9, 10, however many he shot.
Yeah.
But no, it's hard to be critical. And they have one more game before the All Star break. And the All Star break will just be more time to rest and adjust. And then they're off to the races after the break. But no, I mean, it's hard to be critical. I'm looking around the league. I'm looking at Jimmy Butler, and his first 2 games with the Lakers or Warriors have been incredible. But he has played a little bit more recently, so have to take that into consideration.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like, especially just tomorrow as well, they're actually coming to Utah to finish up their stretch before the All Star break, and you start to question if those players that were involved in the Mark Williams trade, what kind of effect that's going to have on the team. I don't know if you watched the game last night. You probably did, but you noticed Dalton Connect was on the sideline, and he wasn't even dressed or nothing, which is normal probably for a lot of players who are on the other side of the country one day, and then they're uh, they're in LA again. So I guess it'll take time to see how that'll pan out. But I mean, I guess we can just start by breaking down the game first of all.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you mentioned it. First half was pretty incredible. 72 points in the first half. I thought it was funny. I wrote this down. Very first play of the game is a LeBron lob to Jackson Hayes, who honestly is an elite lob threat. Not quite sure what he does outside of that, but that's just my opinion. And then second play of the game is a Luca lob to Jackson Hayes. And so, I mean, if you're Jackson Hayes, you're in paradise, right?
No, yeah, 100%. I feel like the versatility of LeBron and Luka. I mean, all the time we see their intelligence on the court showcased in so many different ways, and I think a lot of the time Luka's IQ is a little undershadowed compared to his offensive output. As a whole, I guess scoring, he was a scoring champion last year, and I think his IQ is definitely overshadowed by that quite a bit. I mean, we don't really get to see his playmaking really, I guess, outshine his scoring. But I think that will be the case on this Lakers team. I think they have a lot less shooters than he did in Dallas. I mean that could be debatable, but I do think he does have a lot less shooters, and the Lakers are infamous for bad 3-point shooting. They really are the past couple years, and it's been a kryptonite, especially when you play teams like Denver, and yeah,
Yeah, that's actually my next question for you is comparing the surround like supporting cast, I guess you could call it, of the Mavericks to the Lakers for Luca. What would you say on that?
I'd say some aspects are the same. Um, I mean, obviously, Kyrie and Dallas very ball dominant. He likes to bring the ball down a lot of ISO, but Luka's also very dominantly ISO as well. And I think last night we got to see it a little bit, and this might just be Luka trying to, find his way in this system. But Luka was playing a lot off ball when LeBron was on the floor, and even Austin Reeves was getting a lot more touches with Luka on the floor as well. Obviously, first game, you don't want to be like, oh, they're not using Luka. Like Luka's not going to be a big part of this offense. It's against the Jazz. They're 12 and what, 30, 40?
Yeah, they suck.
Yeah, very, very bad, not very competitive basketball team at this point in the season. I think they're trying to get Cooper Flag, so we'll see how that goes. But
Yeah,
but no, I think Luka's playing a lot more off the ball, and I think that could actually really work. I think that's what JJ was trying to do, and what I think he's ultimately going to try to do with the Lakers this year is try to take not as much pressure as possible off Luka, but I think find ways to make Luka more dangerous when LeBron is off the floor. And when Austin Reeves, I mean, obviously third option, but last night he was looking like the first, especially against the Pacers, the game before the Jazz, 45 points. But there's a lot of comparisons between the two. I mean, definitely on the Mavs, you have a lot more front court defense. I mean, when the Lakers had AD, they had a ton of defense, but now that's what we were talking about earlier, the biggest question, no center. Where do you go from here? Jackson Hayes, like you said, other than the dunk position, where else is he contributing?
yeah. No, that's definitely a great point. Going back, we'll get to the center issues and question around that, but yeah, watching the game, I was kind of shocked. I mean, and it's tough because it's a one game sample size, and I mean that essentially means nothing in the big picture. But I was shocked to see Luka Doncic standing in the corner, he didn't even bring the ball up either, and he runs down to the corner and stands there, which was just shocking, completely different from the Dallas Mavericks. I've watched a lot of Mavericks growing up in Dallas, and so just watching them over the last 2 or 3 years, especially with Kyrie, just not at all what I saw last night, which was crazy. But who knows? It's a one game sample size, and they're working things out. Maybe Luca will be a little more less ball dominant, like you mentioned, take some pressure off of him. Um, I mean, end of the day, I love the JJ Redick acquisition as coach. He's been a revelation this season. And so I trust him to put Luca in the right spot, put LeBron in the right spot, Austin Reeves in the right spot, just between those three ball handlers. And I'm sure it's going to work out. Honestly, in my opinion, I would say you want the ball in Luca's hands 99% of the time. That's just my opinion. Even more so than LeBron, in my opinion. But that's just me. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Like I said, only a one game sample size, so we'll see what they do. And I mean, it also was against the Jazz, who is a bit of an inferior opponent. So we'll see what they do down the stretch against better teams in the playoffs. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But yeah, we'll move on to the Mark Williams trade. Kind of a crazy sequence to be following. Do you quickly want to kind of run through it?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of questions about exactly what the Lakers were giving to Charlotte for Mark Williams, and man, to be honest, when I heard about it, I was like, "Who is Mark Williams?" that was my first. That was my first reaction. But as I learned a little bit more, I learned that he was 7'3". Okay, good. You learned that he's 23. Okay, that's even better. And then you hear that he has problems with his back and his foot, and he's only played 80 games out of 200 in his career. And you're just kind of like, this could be another AD situation. Do we really want to risk it? I mean, we gave Charlotte quite a bit of draft capital as well. We gave him Dawn Connect. I think we gave him our 2031 unprotected. And then Cam Reddish, which is honestly just a throw in. No offense to Cam Reddish, but kind of a throw in there. But No, I was honestly really excited about getting Mark Williams. I was watching his highlights and a lot of pick and roll. He's really intelligent on that as well. He's really quick to cut to the basket and easy target to hit. I mean, 7'3". I think I heard a stat. He has a taller standing reach than Victor Wembanyama. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think I saw that as well. Standing reach of 9'9" or something. Ultimately, Mark Williams most likely he gets to LA, comes to LA, and fails a physical. And so LA's not going to have that. And from the outside looking in, it looks like the Hornets kind of just tried to pull a fast one on the Lakers. Am I right?
Yeah. And even now, so they're trying to dispute the rescindment of the trade, which I think is also very interesting. Um, I don't think that'll happen. I mean, we hear tons of cases of teams trying to dispute a lot of different things. I think the Knicks tried to dispute a win or like a loss, and how are you gonna? You can't dispute a loss.
Yeah. I mean, this just keeps going back and forth. It's kind of crazy. So we have Shams on Twitter talking about that. He says Charlotte Hornets have been in contact with the NBA as they explore options to dispute the Los Angeles Lakers' failed physical assessment of Mark Williams, sources tell ESPN. The Williams Dalton Connect trade was Knicks Saturday, and now Hornets weigh avenues to challenge. So they are wanting to challenge that, which is just crazy. Ultimately, I don't think it's going to work. And it's kind of on them. I mean, he has injury problems, and it sounds like you're just stuck with it. I mean, like you were talking about earlier, it sounds like Mark Williams does have a lot of upside for sure. He's a young player with a lot of potential, but he is dealing with some injuries, which sucks for teams. I mean, you look at the 76ers, and they've dealt with Joel Embiid for the last decade, and
Yeah, how long is the
just
process, man?
just can't seem to get healthy. And so I feel for the Hornets in that sense of kind of being stuck with injuries. It is frustrating. But it is kind of funny that they like tried to sneak one under the table without the Lakers knowing. I find that funny.
No, yeah, and I think what else is also really interesting about that is that the Lakers in 2014, 15 probably would have done anything in their power to get a player like Mark Williams. And so what I think is really interesting is that the Lakers can look at a player like him. He literally fits every need that we are lacking. And Lucas said, "Hey, go get me a vertical threat," and they went out and got Mark Williams. Obviously, they want Luca to be as happy as possible. What, he has 2 years left on his contract, and they want him to resign. So they're trying to make him as happy as possible. But the Lake. This tells you this is a different Lakers organization. This is different. They're not just out trying to get whoever, whenever, but they're seriously taking into consideration their future as a team. They don't want to just get whoever and win now. They're like, okay, like let's actually think this out. Because in 2014, 2015, I can't say the same thing. I
Yeah.
seriously think they would have just ran the table and taken and bitten the bullet on this.
Yeah, no, it's interesting like you're saying like they're in it to win it now and in the long term, and they're prioritizing Luca, which has been crazy just thinking about LeBron and AD even a few weeks ago on national television begging for a center, and they didn't do anything. Now they get Luca, and they immediately, they go and make a move for someone that seemingly would fit really well with Luca in Mark Williams. Now they're left without a center. Well, they have a few, and we'll talk about them. They have Christian Coloco, who is a very young player. I believe he's a rookie, and he's had some bright spots in playing time with JJ. Something cool that I like about JJ is he has been giving the younger players a shot to play and prove themselves, which has been awesome. And obviously, we've talked about Jackson Hayes. We have Maxi Kleber, who came over in the trade as well, who's honestly more of a power forward, but he's hurt for the next few weeks. And then we have Trey Jameson, who's also another young player. Believe he played last night for a little bit
Yeah, he
towards
got a
the
couple
end.
minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
towards the end. Then Markieff Morris, he's 45 years old, kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
More of a culture piece,
Yeah, we're glad to have you
locker
back,
room.
Markeith, but
Yeah,
yeah.
locker room piece, Udonis Haslam role. And then we have
Love that.
Christian Wood. I thought Christian Wood was, for some reason, I was thinking Christian Wood was closer to the 7 foot mark, but
Yeah, 6'8".
yeah, it turns out he's only 6'8". I did not know that. He's
Wow.
another player that has been frustrating for me personally, just because of injuries. The last time he played a game was actually February of last year, so it's
Wow.
been a year, 365 days, and he's still not back yet. But you got to think that he could at least help in that position, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. Even at a 6'8", you know, the way he was playing in Houston, I mean, he was an all-star? Was he an all-star?
I don't think he was an all-star, but honestly, he was a decent piece.
He is. He is. Um, no, yeah, I think Christian Wood, if he were to come back, I think he'd easily just start at the 5, to be honest. He just adds a lot more
Yeah.
to an offense, and I think he can spread the floor as well. But yeah, what do we?
Yeah, and so I mean, he isn't like I was thinking he was taller, but I still think he could be a great fit at the center position. You mentioned Houston in 21 to 22, he was averaging 10 rebounds a game along with 18 points a game. I mean, injuries are tough and it's a mental thing as well, but if he could get back to that both physically and mentally that could be huge.
Oh yeah, that could be huge. And
18 and 10 is not bad.
18 and 10 that year, and then the year before that it was 10 and 21. But that was with 41 games played, 41 started. So you get what you get with Christian Wood. I mean, he definitely has a good resume as far as rebounding and scoring goes. But here's the thing though, I don't think when he has played for the Lakers, I don't think he's been anything insane.
Yeah.
I think that's also been partly because Anthony Davis. I mean, if you're another big on the Lakers or any team with Anthony Davis, just crash the boards and get back to him so he can put it back up. But honestly, I think Christian Wood, if he were to come back, I think he would start at the 5.
Yeah. No, I honestly, in my opinion, I think Christian Wood at this point is more of a pipe dream. But hey,
Yeah,
it sure would be nice.
it would be nice.
It definitely would be nice. I mean, we mentioned those centers prior to this. A lot of them were younger with not a lot of experience.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a team like the Lakers, you're in a tricky spot trying to balance the two, especially when playoffs come. Honestly, we've seen countless times that experience in the playoffs trumps young talent majority of the time.
Yeah, 100%.
Just because that experience comes with maturity and so much more. And so I don't know if Christian Wood was to come back, you might want to think about him more than hey Trey Jameson
Mm-hmm.
or these younger guys just because of that factor. So
No, yeah, 100%. I feel like with the center position right now for the Lakers, we have a couple 7-footers like you mentioned earlier, and you know, hear me out. Me and Minty were messing around with this for like he's like, who do we have at center? Like, who are these guys? I'm like, hey, hear me out. Jackson Hayes, he could do his thing. You know what I mean? And one thing, I was gonna bring this up earlier. One thing that we're starting to notice as well with the Lakers is that in this winning streak that they're in, I think they've played small ball over 60% of the game during this winning streak, and they've scored 120 in what 7 out of those 10? Were you saying?
yeah,
And I think the small ball, I think that might be the key. Honestly, if you don't get a center, I think JJ just trying to play to those strengths. Obviously, when you do play a team like Denver, when you do play a team with an established 5, obviously you might have to find ways to mix that up. But playing small also puts pressure on that other team that is still trying to play that 5. And I think Rui Hachimura was playing 5 for most of the night last night, and he was kind of balling on Walker Kessler. I mean, I don't. It's the height difference is crazy. I mean, there were a couple plays where he was just reaching right over Hachimura's head and just taking the ball off the board. But the Lakers are able to space the floor, and they're able to spread out their offense. And I think with Jared Vanderbilt and Rui Hachimura crashing the boards, very athletic forward positions. I mean, they honestly could make up for the lack of center play. And I think Jackson Hayes, we're looking at it here, 23 minutes, 6 of 6 field goals. I mean, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 of those are lobs, but that's all
Yeah.
we need him to do,
yeah,
Like if he can do that and just lob it to him, bro, like that's That's all we need him to do. I think we
Yeah.
just need our centers to play their part.
Yeah, no, and I'm fine with all of that. The last thing I want for you, Kula, is this. It's a Reddit post. We have some clown says, "I think Jackson Hayes is good enough to shut down Jokic.
No.
I am not
No.
worried. I think Hayes has the athletic ability to deal with Jokic. I think we will be fine."
Oh,
And
no. I'm not that delusional.
okay, that's that I just wanted to make sure.
Well, I knew you were gonna bring some up like that because that's why I mentioned like unless you play a team like Denver that has an established five, in this case, Denver's five is probably one of the best players ever. And at that point, I think you gotta go that Heat route. Basically or that Cavaliers route. You gotta make, and this is one thing that I think makes Luka Doncic, getting him is what makes this Lakers team that much more dangerous than if we had a five. Is that you can't focus on everybody. You know what I mean? Like you play Denver, they're trying to take away your best players. They're gonna take away LeBron. They're gonna take away Luka, and then you got Reeves. Like you can go either of those three ways. And honestly, out of any of the past couple years of the Lakers, I think our role players or our rotational players are at their best in the past couple years. I think Rob Pelinka's done a great job of revamping the roster and really giving this team a true identity. But I feel like playing a team like Denver, you gotta Jokic is gonna do Jokic. But you got to shut everybody else down other than Jokic, which makes me. I'm not that guy that's like I think Jackson Hayes could shut down the best player in the NBA right now.
No, that's not it.
Yeah, and so I think if you do play that style, and which I honestly do think JJ Redick he's gonna scheme something up to play a team like Denver, whether it's letting Jokic drop 50 and winning the game. You know what I mean? We know Jackson Hayes can't guard Jokic. We know nobody on the Lakers can guard Jokic right now. But what we do know is that Luka's a scoring champion. He can drop 40 any given night. LeBron can drop 30 any given night. We just learned a couple nights ago he's still very capable of putting up a 40-point night.
Yeah.
We know Rui can hit 3 to 4 threes a night. We've got guys that I think match up pretty well with Denver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm definitely less worried about the offense than the defense. I think that's kind of the question marks here, and right along with that, and a paint presence, a big old paint presence. You want that paint presence more on defense than you want on offense. Like you said, all we really need Jackson Hayes to do is just catch lobs, right? Like we saw that last night. It's work of art with LeBron and Luka's vision. We more so need someone that can kind of anchor the paint and, not make offenses just stroll right down the paint like it's nothing, right? You want something kind of the fear factor is what I'm getting at, as well as obviously the actual ability to go out and do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll see what happens there. Another tweet out here says Rob Pelinka just said they'll address the center position in the next few days on Spectrum Sportsnet.
Wow.
So we'll see what that means.
Yeah.
We have Stephen A. on First Take this morning suggesting Dwight Howard for a third stint. And that's a load of crap.
What do you think about that?
First Take is entertainment. It's not knowledge.
Mm-mm.
It's not actual ball knowledge. It's entertainment.
I agree.
So I do not listen to a word that they say. I actually really used to like First Take. I'd say maybe back in high school, but I think I've matured enough to know that it's just
blabber, man.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So I don't think Dwight Howard is a very likely option. But another name that I did see earlier yesterday was Alex Len coming over from the Kings.
Okay, yeah, that could be interesting. And just real quick on your what you're saying about First Take, I think the last person to have actual ball knowledge on First Take is coaching the Lakers right now. Whenever he'd come on First Take, JJ Redick.
That's a great point.
It was like
that is a great
this
point.
This is a guy that knows basketball. I'm sure you've watched Mind the Game.
Yeah.
With LeBron and JJ. Yep. He's a very, very intelligent man. And you see the way he's played, his play style. And I also think it's really interesting is he hasn't tried to turn the Lakers into something that they aren't. I mean, JJ Redick, one of the most prolific three-point shooters in NBA history, I think.
Yeah.
He hasn't tried to turn this Lakers team into a Warrior shooting 43s a game. Obviously, you know, they still kind of do hit that mark every time, but their whole offense isn't surrounding the three, and I think that's really interesting. But going
Yeah.
back on what you're saying, I think Alex Len could be a really interesting option. Um, he's what 7'1", 7'1".
Yeah, he's big. And coming over from the Kings. And yeah.
Yeah, I think Alex Len could be a really good option. A couple others I think would be like
There's Mo Bamba, which is
yeah,
another
we
one.
could bring him back.
Yeah.
Bring him back, which I don't think would be a terrible thing, but you know, another good option as well that I've seen if they do decide to buy him out, the Hawks is Larry Nance Jr. I would
Oh,
honestly,
I didn't even think of that one.
I was honestly be open to that reunion there. He's a little bit of a smaller, be a little bit of a smaller five, but he's got a good frame. He's actually a really good scorer in my opinion. Like he can space the floor, hit the occasional 2 or 3 threes. Um, but he definitely has like a more bulkier frame, which would allow him to kind of step up to some of those other centers. But there's a ton of options, so I'm really interested. I didn't see that Rob Pelinka was gonna address the center position. Eh?
Yeah, it kind of sucks with the Mark Williams trade because that was
Probably the
most
best
yeah.
option.
I mean, that's a great fit seemingly. And then fails the physical and the Lakers are kind of left with nothing, right?
Yeah.
So
We're left with nothing except for awkwardness.
it's a tricky spot to be in. It's a very tricky spot to be in. I mean, the trade deadline is over, so it's not like you can go out and make a trade. And so I'm not sure what they'll do, but I mean it's definitely a need, I would say, especially on the defensive end, like I said.
Yeah.
And especially, when it does come to the postseason. Postseason is all about hunting matchups. And so if you don't have a center
They're
that
gonna
can
pick on
defend,
him.
then you're gonna get picked on, Jackson Hayes or whoever it might be.
Yeah.
And so we'll see what ends up happening. And I mean, hopefully Rob Pelinka does something. Alex Len, Mo Bamba, Larry Nance Jr.
Definitely not Dwight Howard though. No way.
No,
How old is he? He's like 39.
he's got to be 40. I mean, honestly, I actually really like Dwight. Like,
No, when he was on the Lakers, it was a really good fit, man. Like that year, I think in the bubble, and then the year after, Dwight was
Yeah.
solid.
yeah, no, I actually really like him on and off the court. I think he's a super funny guy, and he's actually, I mean, he's very athletic.
Yeah.
But at some point, you kind of just have to acknowledge that, hey, that ship has sailed,
Yeah,
right?
it's gone.
That ship has sailed. What would it be? His third stint or fourth?
Yeah,
stint?
third stint with the Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, that's just unnecessary. So we'll see what they end up doing, and it's certainly a position of need for the postseason. And the Lakers are in a great spot for the postseason.
Yeah, we are. I mean, Lakers are currently in the 4th seed in the West, and you ask everybody before this season started, the Lakers are not in the 4th seed. They're not. They are probably 10th or 11th where they've been the past couple years, especially at this point in the season. I mean, last year with AD and LeBron, they were kind of in like the 8th to 9th seed.
Playing.
Yeah, they were in the play-in. They moved up to like 7 or 6, and then the last couple games they slipped back down to 8 or 9. But I think this year, I've been watching a ton of talk shows, and all their ceiling for the Lakers is honestly, I think, a lot lower than what a lot of people are saying, or it's higher than what they're saying.
Yeah.
And I think any team with Luka and LeBron, I think that's a championship team. I mean, even LeBron, how old he is, he's not that old. He's not that age.
It doesn't look like it.
It doesn't look like that.
on the court. That's what I'd say.
I mean, just the fact last night, like LeBron in a game, they're up 40. Like LeBron's still playing 30 minutes. He's still getting 20. He's still getting 20, 20, 20, 20. And, I think their ceiling's a lot higher than a lot of people give them credit for. The center is a contributing factor about that. Like you can only go so far without a real 5.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only thing that's kind of stumping them in terms of people determining what their ceiling is. But I think 4 right now is a really solid spot, and they do have a real shot of getting to that 3-2 seed, I think, by the end of the year. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, I don't know what the Thunder's schedule is looking like. I don't think they're only going to lose 9 games. They might lose a lot more. You never know.
Yeah.
They're a young team as well. I mean, I think Chet Holmgren's coming back soon, so that'll probably bolster that team a little bit more. But
Yeah.
the Lakers are really looking at a 2 seed ceiling right now. They're
Yeah.
2
Absolutely.
or 3 games out of that 2 seed.
Yeah. That's super realistic, honestly,
Yeah.
at this point. No, I the Western Conference with the Lakers included has, for me personally, has been shocking just to see the teams that are in contention and especially teams that are not in contention, like the Phoenix Suns, for example, with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant.
And Bradley Beal.
And Bradley Beal. I mean, the list goes on. A whole ton of role
Yeah.
players, right, that actually fit really well and have contributed. And then the Warriors, I mean, have dominated the last decade. I wrote an open letter to Adam Silver in high school to boycott the Warriors. And so that shows you my relationship with them. And they're in the 10th seed, which, I mean, yeah, we're used to them dominating, right? And then the Mavs are fighting in the play-in as well. The Timberwolves are fighting in the play-in. And then the Clippers, who have not been healthy for the last decade, it seems like, are somehow in the 6th seed.
Yeah.
With James Harden. And honestly, I think the big difference for the Clippers has been Norman Powell. I think Norman Powell should have been an all-star, in my opinion.
I agree.
And then we have the Rockets up there, which feels like they've kind of sucked the last few years. And then the Grizzlies, which is also shocking just with Ja Morant being in and out of the lineup, either due to suspension or health and injuries with his play style. Seems to be a dangerous kind of play style. But honestly, yeah, it's been shocking. And the Lakers right there at the 4th seed, I don't think that's a bad spot at all. I mean, if the playoffs started today, they'd be going against, the 5 seed, right? 4 and 5 play each other, so that'd be the Rockets. And that's not a bad matchup. I think what gets the Lakers through that series is experience.
Yeah. Which I think is kind of the same thing with a lot of those top teams in the
That's
Western
true.
Conference.
That's true. I
You know?
mean,
Yeah.
I'd say the Nuggets have experience, and maybe the Clippers with Coach Ty Lue. The Dallas Mavericks obviously are in the play-in, so they'd have to make it in first. But they have experience being in the finals last year. And then the Warriors have plenty of experience that we talked about.
There.
And they're in the play-in as well. But, yeah, no, I mean, OKC, young. Memphis, young. Rockets, young. So, yeah, no, that's a great point. But, yeah, I mean, as of right now, it would be the Rockets. And I don't know, just thinking of that center position, they'd probably have their hands full with Sengun.
Yeah, Sengun would be a tough one.
Because he's a bucket.
Yeah, he is a bucket, and he is also an all-star this year. First year as an all-star. I think he's been in the league for, 3 years?
Yep, younger guy.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah, he's an absolute beast. I seriously love watching him play. And talking about the Rockets, we totally went over this, but Anthony Davis is hurt, and he's out for the next month. Next 4 to 6 weeks, AD is dealing with an abdominal injury. So, I only bring this up because we were just talking about the Mavs, and now we're talking about Sengun.
Yeah.
And the play that AD got hurt on, Sengun just strolled down. I mean, obviously he was hurt, but Sengun put up, I think, 20 or 30 that game. But we totally went over the fact that AD is hurt right now.
As much as I don't want to talk about it, I mean, I really don't, but it's just, I don't know. It becomes laughable, honestly. It's unfortunate, right? But if I'm a Mavs fan, and I honestly kind of am, having grown up there, I want to do horrific crimes to Nico Harrison, to put it lightly.
Oh, my goodness.
It's just, yeah. And, I mean, so, yeah, he's hurt. Lively is already hurt. And Daniel Gafford was just hurt last night, I believe. So that is all of their centers. That's all of their big men. And I can't imagine what those fans are going through. I mean, that's just unbelievable. And, I mean, looking at the Lakers, that's favorable if the Mavs were somehow to creep into the playoffs and make a deep run, and let's say those two teams match up. Who knows if Anthony Davis would even be playing?
Yeah, and the first thing everyone was talking about was Lakers Mavs. I think it's like the 26th or 7th of
It's in March,
oh
right?
March
Or is
March
it? I
March
think it's March
27th or something.
25th.
Yeah.
Yeah, around there.
Everyone, and who knows? I don't know if AD will be back by then, but that's what everyone's talking about. Oh, this game's going to be a movie. This game's going to be
Yeah.
cinema. And the main headline player that was sent from the Lakers to the Mavs isn't even playing. Oh, it's
February.
yeah, it's February.
So what?
February.
2 weeks?
2 weeks, and he won't be playing, man. But you know who will be playing? Luka Doncic, who
Luka
is
Doncic, maybe a new center.
maybe a
We'll
new
see.
center.
We'll see.
And you think I just can't. But give my flowers to Rob Pelinka. I mean,
Yeah.
like the last couple years they've been terrible. Like guy has been so scared to make any moves.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have LeBron James coming out and telling the media, I need this, and this. I need this, and this to win. It's
Yeah.
not for me. I want to win. I want to help the Lakers win. But then when you have AD saying it,
That's different.
that's
right?
different.
That's different.
That's a little different. Especially when AD's been playing with LeBron. We talk about the LeBron effect. You play with LeBron, you tend to gain some of those GM traits. And then you go and trade AD after he asks for things.
Yeah.
And I mean, if the Lakers get that second, maybe I'm not going to say first seed. If they can get that second seed, Rob Pelinka should honestly be up for executive of the year.
Yeah.
We seriously need to start discussing. I think this Lakers trade, people have talked. It's monumental.
No. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's game breaking.
Absolutely. I mean, simply put, right? I mean, the Lakers blew this trade out of the water, and the Mavs, I mean, their front office probably needs to check into a mental institution, honestly.
They already got more security.
An insane asylum at this point.
They need to get like a full on perimeter, just every time checking a 5-mile vicinity.
Yeah.
Of just nobody that's trying to take their life.
No, it's a horrendous trade for the Mavericks, and it just got even worse as Anthony Davis goes down with an injury for it sounds like a month at least, and it sounds like the entire season at most.
Yeah,
which is crazy, and I mean, unfortunate, right?
Very unfortunate for Nico Harrison. I'm not saying for anybody else except Nico Harrison at this point.
Yeah,
it could have been any other way to go out for AD. I mean, you play a couple weeks, you get injured. Okay, at least we got AD for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
it's his first game, and he gets hurt bad.
I mean, there really is no way to justify this trade. I mean, it's been 2 weeks, and it's all I've thought about, right? And there is no way to justify it because I mean, Anthony Davis is 32 years old, and he's made of glass. I mean, maybe it's a different story if it's Pelicans, Anthony Davis, right? Younger and putting up ginormous numbers alongside
40-20 like almost every
with Boogie Cousins. And so even still then, like I still think Luka's probably better, or I mean around the same level as Pelicans AD, right?
Definitely a lot more impactful.
Yeah, so it's just tough to justify it, but moving forward, I mean, the Lakers now have the greatest scorer in the league alongside LeBron James, alongside Austin Reeves, and many other great pieces.
Jackson Hayes.
As we've talked about. And the only missing piece now is a center, mainly just on defense, right? I mean, I think offense, they're set, right?
Yeah,
they could probably score 100 just between Luka and LeBron, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, more so just on the defensive end, and we'll see what they do.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what moves Rob Pelinka makes. I mean, obviously the moves can't be too insane with the trade deadline pass, but I'm really interested to see who they bring in for some workouts, see who they end up signing to help this team. So
I mean, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of names out there, but who knows? I mean, people come out of nowhere, so we'll see.
I mean, Luka came out of nowhere.
Exactly. I mean, we didn't. Yeah, you never would have thought of that. And so, as we mentioned, they're coming to Utah this week. and then the All-Star break, and then it's a sprint to the finish, and we'll see where they end up.
Yeah, and I mean we'll talk about this next time, but the Lakers' schedule after the All-Star break looks pretty brutal. So we'll see how it goes. I think they rank in top 10 hardest schedules, I think, to finish out the season. So, yeah.
We'll see. I mean, they're on a 6-game winning streak. They've won 10 of their last 11, and they've been playing some great ball, and that's before the Luka trade, right?
Yep.
Only one game with Luka, so it feels like it can only go up from here. And, I mean, yeah, you mentioned the schedule. Hopefully they can get through that and at least maintain the 4 seed, maybe move up to 3 or 2, but, yeah, hopefully they can stay in that position and head to the playoffs, and we'll see what happens from there.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how many points Jackson Hayes can give up in one game against Jokic.
Yeah, I will be having nightmares about that, actually.
Yeah, me too. I've been having nightmares about the Denver Nuggets for the past 2 years.
Jackson Hayes, we love you. No slander.
Yes, no slander. Hey, man,
dude.
Just keep rolling to the basket.
Elite
man.
lob threat.
Just keep doing what you do.
If that's all you do, dude, just keep doing it, man.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Just go 6 for 6, 8 for 8 every game, and we'll take it. We'll take it. Hit your free throws.
Yeah, hit the free throws. Yeah, get fouled at the rim.
We'll
Go 6 for 6 from the field. 5 of those are lobs. Maybe
Yep.
1 floater.
Yeah.
Maybe turn
Yeah,
around.
because I saw you throw up a floater yesterday, and it was rough. So don't do that.
Oh boy.
But you have 2 of the best playmakers in the game.
Yeah.
Just let them do their thing, man.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine those 2 in the playoffs. That's unbelievable. With J.J. Redick, who has put on a master class of a season, in my opinion, and in the playoffs, I mean, the IQ there, just in those 3 individuals alone, like, is making my head hurt. Like, that is just an absurd amount of IQ on the court and in that organization. So, yeah, no, I think they're definitely a scary team to see in the playoffs. Obviously, they got to make it through the rest of the season, but yeah, we'll see what happens from there.
Yeah, 100%. And going in All-Star break, Luka will have another good couple days to rest and get ready to take on that gauntlet.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully study some film, learn some plays. I mean, that always helps. Seen that with Jimmy Butler. I mean, he comes out the other night saying, yeah, I'm just looking at Draymond, and he's telling me what to do. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And he's still dropping 20, which is awesome
Yeah.
for him. But, yeah, I mean, that's definitely going to help over the break as well to get acclimated to the system. I mean, it's tough to come into a system and not know anything, right? Like the plays or whatever it might be. So, but, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens from there. Thank you guys for tuning in. First podcast of our entire lives.
Yeah,
but
entire life.
We're here to chat about the Lakers. And yeah, we appreciate everyone tuning in.
Yeah, we love Lakers. Go Lakers, Lake Show.
Hey, this guy's a big Lakers guys, and I was just thinking, man, I should do a podcast with this guy so we can just yap.
Yeah, and it'll only get better. Right now I think it's like ball and yap mixed together, but we'll get to that ball. We'll get to that ball side of things.
I'm gonna do my best, guys. I'm in school. I'm working 4 internships, and I'm running 30 miles a week, so I'm kind of busy. But I will do my best to study and know ball. I mean, I think I do already enough,
does.
right?
He already does.
But can always be better, right? And we'll get better as it goes on. So thank you guys for tuning in, and go Lakers.
Go Lakers, baby.